storehouse building is here. There is a line of biscuit boxes where we're standing, which joins up to this barricade across the front here. There's a little cattle kraal over there, which is defended. It's within the defensive perimeter. Just over here, somewhere in front of the building, there is a big pile of mealie bags that has been dragged out, ready to put on the barricades, but hadn't at the point that the battle had started actually been used. But this is now the entire defensive perimeter of the British position at Rorke'S Drift. In some ways, Chard is now in a stronger position. He's still got pretty much the same number of men. Yes, he's probably lost about a dozen men at this stage, but he's still got 130 something men here. They're now in a much smaller area. It's possible for them to fight much closer together to provide a much stronger defensive front. So although it's a ridiculously small perimeter that they're now holding, nonetheless they're actually rather more secure in it than they were when they were trying to hold the whole of this perimeter. The worst bit of it, the most exposed to enemy fire, is this little corner here where we're standing. You can see the ground generally slopes down there. It's picking up a bit of fire that's drifting in from the hill over the back there. There are Zulus firing from the abandoned hospital building over there. The worst thing is, still large numbers of Zulus lying out in the grass and the bush down the front, and they can run up at the front here and get down under this ledge here, where you can't reach them with the fire from this position here. Hitch says, well, I was fighting at the front here, and I was engaged with a fellow who had run up on the other side of the barricades, when I see his mate next to him present his rifle at me. And I can't do anything about it because actually I'm fighting with this guy. And he said, I saw the flash and heard the crack of the rifle and something hit me in the shoulder and knocked me down. And Hitch is in fact hit with a bullet that's gone into his shoulder and smashed his shoulder blade. One of his, in fact, Bromhead is standing nearby and looks down at him and says, mate, are you hit? And I replied, yes. It does intrigue me the way that they have these conversations under these circumstances. And another guy comes over, another mate of his, and tears the lining out of his tunic and bangs up Hitch's shoulder and says to him very solicitously, mate, if it comes to the last, shall I shoot you rather than let the Zulus have you? And Hitch says, no, you know, they've done this much, the buggers can finish me if they've got to. So he manages to get himself sort of patched up. And as he staggers up, Mr. Bromhead offers him his revolver, and he says, well, I've only got one hand. So Bromhead takes a rifle and I take a revolver, and he's then firing over the barricade at the Zulus as they're rushing up. Later on, presumably he's out of ammunition, he says, well, I put my hand down the front of my ammunition belt here to support my damaged arm, and I then walked around distributing ammunition to the other guys here, and he does this until eventually he passes out in the night from loss of blood. And he's then carried over to the storehouse front there, where the doctor sort of tries to do a bit more first aid for him. You'll be pleased to hear he got the Victoria Cross from that. It's interesting that 36 pieces of bone are taken out of his shoulder blade when he's sewn up by the doctor. So it's quite a sort of serious injury. Another guy, Private Nichols, is shot clean through the head. In fact, that was before Hitch was wounded, because Hitch says, and his brain splattered all about me. So it's quite a dangerous area. Another VC incident, arguably one of the most famous and intriguing incidents from the battle, also takes place right here. It can only have taken place here because it doesn't make sense otherwise. There is a Swiss bloke by the name of Schiess, who was a corporal in the Natal native contingent. Again, he's in the movie, but it's not quite right in the movie, funnily enough. In fact, he was a short, stocky man with dark hair and an earring, and he'd probably been a sailor in his earlier sort of career. A lot of these guys in the native contingent, in the auxiliary units, have washed up from around the world and, you know, gone off to take the Queen's shilling for a few months. And Schiess, according to Chard's report, was much irritated by the fire of the Zulus down here, so he decides to climb over the barricades here, and he crawls a few yards along the abandoned barricade. Well, this is outside the perimeter now, but there is a barricade here, so using this as cover, he crawls a few yards along here, and he then jumps up onto the top of this barricade, and he fires down at the Zulus. Now you can shoot straight down into them, down there. Gives them a hell of a fright, you can imagine. Fires down into them, shoots one bloke, another bloke next to the other Zulu fires at him and blows off his hat. Hat falls down outside the barricade. Chief jumps down to pick it up. The Zulu comes at him with a spear. Chief bayonets him, climbs back on here, loads again, shoots another Zulu, and then comes back towards the barricade over here. And again, he gets the Victoria Cross for that. But it contributes to making that a little bit more untenable for the Zulus than it might otherwise have been. Although this is a